Assalamu alaikum everyone. Welcome to the first video of Muslim Boy Travels, hopefully, name pending. That was me in October of 2023 at the beginning of an unforgettable journey through Southeast Asia. This is me in July of 2025, still not having edited the video. Even at the time of shooting, I wasn't sure whether or not I was going to actually make a video. All I knew was that I had a passion for it. A passion for traveling, new experiences, and telling stories. And after looking back at the footage and the memories, I realize now that that was enough of a reason for me to start. Now, this is probably irrelevant to you, but I'm mentioning it for two reasons. One, because this video is mainly for me to look back at some memories that I made while I was there. And two, because I find it very interesting that a lot of what I learned while I was on this trip is actually a lot of what inspired me to start making this video. I was hoping to share not only the amazing experience of traveling in Southeast Asia, but I also wanted to share that feeling of being a little too overwhelmed to chase what you thought you were really passionate about. I know a lot of people feel this way, and I know I feel this way not just about making videos, but in a lot of other areas of my life. So I hope this will inspire you to go out and chase your own passions, and at the very least, you can see how incredible it would be to travel to Southeast Asia in my very first travel vlog. After a brief yet beautiful layover in Qatar, where I met Preston, Z, and Sayed Kamran, shout out to them by the way for saying they'd be my first subscribers, I finally landed in the beautiful city of Saigon, or Ho Chi Minh City. Unfortunately, I was super jet lagged, super tired, a little stressed that my bags hadn't come in, so I ended up just kind of knocking out. But luckily, it's only 5:45 in the morning, so I have time before my flight to get some of the things done that I wanted to do last night. And now we're gonna finally go explore the streets of Vietnam. I'm really enjoying the vibe around these parks because people are just out here, getting their morning exercise in. I just met this guy who was in the Vietnam War, and he was telling me about how the Americans jailed him and took 9 years of his life. He had this letter that he wrote to somebody in the US military, and it's a very different vibe in this country. People are just willing to just have a conversation with you. They don't want to take your money. They don't want to do anything bad to you. I mean, he just gave me his email and was like, okay, have a nice day. It was refreshing. I like the people here so far. It's been quite interesting. That evening, I arrived in Hanoi, got dinner at a place near my Airbnb, walked outside to enjoy the nighttime vibes of Hanoi before heading over to Train Street, where I tried some egg coffee, enjoyed some more vibes, right before heading over to a water puppet show, which is something unique to Hanoi. And that next morning, I got some coffee from a gentrified coffee shop before heading to Ha Long Bay. After spending the day on a cruise at Halong Bay, I then took a sleeper bus at night over to Giang, where I slept for a few hours in a hotel before waking up to begin the road trip of a lifetime. Here in Giang, we're about to get started on our tour. Super excited. I'm here with a tour guide, 2 people in my group, and the guy that's going to be driving me. So it should be super exciting. This area is so beautiful, and yeah, let's get to it. I can't really put into words how unreal these 3 days felt. From the beautiful mountain views to trying new foods and making new friends, all the way to experiencing new cultures in these small mountain towns, going all the way to the border of China, watching some strangers do karaoke at night, and all of these incredible mountain views that led to beautiful, serene mornings like this. Now, I could make an entire video about the Hajang Loop, but I'll spare you the time. What I do want to talk about, though, is 2 people that I met while I was on this trip. The first of which is Jesse. Jesse's actually the reason that I have all of my drone shots for this video. You see, Jesse was really cool to me because he didn't take these shots because he wanted to make any kind of content. He just did it for the love of the game, which I thought was incredible. The other person is one of our drivers who we were talking to while everyone else was doing karaoke. But I'll let old me explain the story because he probably remembers it a little bit better.
It was just so crazy to learn about his life. He's taking care of his family. I asked him what his meaning for life was, and it was to take care of his family because his parents are getting old and he's, I think, 25, and his sister suffered severe burn damage all across her body. He makes about he was 30,000 dong a day, which is a little over $1 US, and he uses that to support his entire family.
I think what really stuck out to me about that interaction was that he seemed to be grateful no matter what circumstance he was in his life. And that really sticks out to me even looking back at it after all this time. Unfortunately, I would have to leave this part of the trip behind, but there was a lot to be excited about as I got to spend one last day in Hanoi before leaving the country. That night, I took a tiny little plane over to Laos, spent the next morning in Luang Prabang, which was absolutely gorgeous, and then in the afternoon took a train over to Vientiane, where I ate some decent food and explored a few temples, but was overall a little bit disappointed, and I think I would have enjoyed spending my time in the luscious green landscapes of Luang Prabang a little bit more. And I really wish I had more to say about Laos because it seems like a genuinely interesting country, but I just didn't spend a whole lot of time there. So we can just skip ahead to Chiang Mai. first night in Chiang Mai, I got a tour guide to go check out some temples and eat some good street food, and then go back to the Airbnb to rest up before the next morning, where I would go on a hike to a waterfall and get to feed and bathe some elephants. After Chiang Mai, I arrived in Bangkok, which would be my final destination for this trip. On my first day, I went out and did some street photography during the day, and at night, I went to go see a Muay Thai fight at Rajadamnern Stadium, which I believe is the first Muay Thai stadium in Bangkok. I got to see some cool fights, some cool entrances, some cool knockouts, and I even watched a guy get carried out on a stretcher. And on my very last day of this trip, I went to go check out the temples and the floating markets in Bangkok.
في جميع أنحاء الطائرة ودورات المياه المزودة بأجهزة حساسة.
It's been almost 2 years since that trip. I remember coming back from the trip and being super excited, telling everyone that I was going to make this vlog about my trip. Even while I was there, I was telling the people that I met that I was recording for a vlog. As time went on, I was getting more and more overwhelmed, thinking that I was letting everyone down. And even if no one else really cared, I was letting myself down. Eventually, I even gave up on trying to make a vlog and moved on from the idea. But then I looked back at the footage, and I remembered what I learned on this trip. I remembered that these kinds of things aren't worth doing because you'll do them on time, or even because you'll do them well. Things are worth doing because you love to do them. I also remembered to be grateful for everything that I had. You see, I don't have to do this. I get to. And with that in mind, and everything else that I've learned over the last 2 years, I'll leave you with this. We all have our own sets of values, but we get to choose how we uphold those values. We get to choose our own dreams. And what's even better is that we get to live them. My name's Aman Jaffer. Thanks for watching.